Welcome to the Farming Without the Bank podcast, the show with a no BS approach to money, hosted by a farm strategy expert and authorized IBC practitioner. Join us as we get real and expose the flaws of traditional financial institutions in order to help farmers take control of their finances, create peace of mind, grow their wealth, and leave a legacy. Now, here's your host, Mary Jo Irmen.
Hello and welcome back to the Farming Without the Bank podcast. Thank you very much for being here, tuning in, sharing, leaving comments and reviews. I appreciate them all. All right, today I have another topic request. I don't know that I will do this one justice, but I will try my darndest. I was asked to compare this, or not compare it, sort of compare it to what's going on in the economy, or talk about, what people can do if they're scared with what's going on in the economy right now. This is kind of a hard topic. I don't really know what we need to address in particular because there's so much going on. Oh my gosh, this could be a, multiple days long discussion, I think. But, a lot of people have been asking about, well, why do I want to put money into whole life insurance? Because you're going to have inflation. We're going to have hyperinflation. We have devaluation of the dollar. Should we be buying cryptocurrency? What if the market crashes? It is endless, right? If you are listening to the radio, then you may want to turn the radio off. I listen enough to know what's going on and not completely have my head in the sand. But I think that the more we engulf ourselves in some of those things, the more the doomsdayer comes out in us and we forget rationality. And I used to just engulf myself in what was going on in the news and pretty sure that the world was going to collapse. And you pull out of that and you think a little bit differently. And so many people right now are saying, well, the dollar is going to collapse and the feds have actually been taken over and we're going to have a new currency. Do I ignore those things? Absolutely not. I listen to them, I look at them, but we have to, if we go back in history, when the gold standard was taken away and the Federal Reserve actually started, many people said the exact same thing. Oh, we're not going to have a currency, it's going to be gone, and nothing is backed by gold, and all this stuff. The only reason anything has a value to it today is because that's the value we decided to pay for it. You understand that your home is only valued at what somebody's willing to pay for it. I don't care what an appraiser says. The appraiser just says, hey, the neighbor guy got X amount for his house because somebody was willing to pay that for it. So now your house is worth more. Only if somebody's willing to pay that. A tractor is only worth more than what someone is willing to pay. If the cost of tractors go up and the cost of equipment goes up and the cost of land goes up, it's going up because that's what people are willing to pay for it. They're driving that cost up. If you don't want to pay that, then don't pay it. And as soon as people start overpaying for things, guess what? It goes back down, which is exactly what happened in 2008 and 2009. People didn't see the value in these houses, and so therefore everything crashed. But when we talk about, is life insurance going to be as secure as cryptocurrency or as secure as gold and silver? Why should I put my money into life insurance, Mary Jo? And is it going to be as safe as gold and silver? Well, compared to what? If you are looking at gold and silver is only worth what someone is willing to pay for it today, right? If life insurance companies invest in bonds and real estate and gold and silver and stocks and all those sorts of things, the valuation of the life insurance company is going to go down at the same valuation that everything else in the world is going to go down to. If you have money in a savings account and the dollar drops, you only have what's relative to what the dollar value is then. So, I've talked about this before. People want life insurance to be this, and they want the infinite banking concept to be the answer to every single problem in the world. Yet they're holding it on a different pedestal than a 401k, than cryptocurrency, than whatever else they're doing. This is supposed to be the absolute most guaranteed thing, but you don't ask that those other things are guaranteed. Is your gold guaranteed to hold its value? No. Is the land that you own guaranteed to hold its value? No. IRAs? Nope. Bonds? Nope. But you want this to hold its value. I don't understand that. I don't understand why this has to be so protected while everybody out there is not asking for those same guarantees in everything else that they do. Should we be concerned about what's happening in the market? What's happening in the world today with our currency? Absolutely, we should be. The fact that we just keep printing money and people think that it's not going to be a big deal, or they're putting their head in the sand, you guys all realize that if there are tax changes with this administration, it's going to hurt the middle class. Any kind of tax change never affects the people that are wealthy. It doesn't affect them. They know how to get around it. They are typically the ones employing the middle class, so everything just gets passed down to the consumer. It's no different than if this administration gets rid of the step up in basis. That's not going to hurt the wealthy that own that land, that pass away. It is going to hurt the middle class children that inherit it because their inheritance is lower. So therefore, we hurt the middle class. It is a trickle-down effect. Can we keep printing money and thinking everything's going to be okay? No. The last administration printed too much money. It's unbelievable how I just focus in on one thing with every administration, which is the printing of money. How are we handling our national debt? How are we handling the dollar? It's absolutely ridiculous. Let's just keep printing and keep printing and keep printing. Nothing is safe. And the value of the US dollar is still the strongest currency out there. So as much as I listen to people saying that the US dollar is going to collapse, what are we going to be replaced with? There is no other currency that is as strong. I have clients that are preppers. They will tell you gold and silver is not the answer. You first want water, food, guns, ammo, then gold and silver, right? And now I'm going to add land into the mix so we can grow our own food, providing that the land doesn't get taken away from us as well. And these are all things that are talked about. Is it a little bit more concerning with an administration that holds the cards in every aspect? Yes, it is. If that is done, can it be reversed by the last administration? I have not paid attention to politics my whole life, but when I started, one administration does something, the next administration reverses it. Then the next administration puts something else back in, then the next administration reverses it. Will those things last and stay forever? Will we put them back in? We should be upset that the government has made these rules. Now they can change the rules, and we fell for it in the first place. And I just talked about this on a previous podcast when I was talking about the step up in basis and getting rid of that. We are looking at what is happening today, but what is going to happen long term? No different than when we talk about a life insurance policy. What's going to happen long term? When you buy an IRA, they say, oh, hold on for the long term. Let's look at today, what we're making for a rate of return. Let's look at that. And then let's hold on for the long term. I mean, really in a 401k, we're talking about both, right? They have a really good year and then you're supposed to focus on the short term. They have a really shitty year and then you're supposed to focus on the long term. So it really depends how good it did, where our focus is going to be. But our focus should always be on the long term. In fact, Nelson tells us the focus should be generational. And there's not very many of us thinking generational. There's many of us thinking our lifetime. We need to prepare. Do we need to be concerned? Yes. Do we need to prepare? Absolutely. That is more important. What if the dollar collapses? How am I going to prepare for that? Am I going to have land? Am I going to have food? Am I going to have water? If my dollar today buys something for $1 and it collapses and now it's only valued at 30 cents, well, now every dollar I have is 30 cents. Everything that was selling for $1 is only going to sell for 30 cents. And I could be wrong. I am no economist. Let's just make that very clear before y'all beat up on me. I am no economist, but we have to logically in my head, if our dollar collapses and our currency collapses, well, then the value of everything is just going to follow along. Even if we have cash value, that's just going to buy less. Right? I mean, it's going to maybe be valued at less and it's just going to buy less. I mean, I talk about these things with the life insurance company and they just look at me like I have 3 eyes because they're in this world of managing money and they're paying attention to this and they hear what's going on, but they're also working with big money managers in every avenue because guess what? Every company and every person is trying to get a share of the same pool of money in the world. There is only one pool of money, and we all have to share it. Well, when you're talking to all those people and seeing what's going on, and they're all doing the same thing, and our currency is still just as strong, is it something that we need to lose sleep over? Or is it something we just say, you know what, this is what I have today. This is the best that I can prepare for that. I do know one thing. If I have money in a life insurance policy, I am going to be better off than having money in an IRA or a 401k or something that is tied to the market that I have to ask someone else permission for to use. That's what I know. I know that life insurance companies are old enough to remember the 30s and have prepared for those. I know that. So I would prefer to have my money there. I would prefer to have my money in a life insurance policy before having it in the bank who can say, you know what? Sorry, Mary Jo, not giving you anything today. We just don't have enough on hand. I know I don't want my money backed by the FDIC, who is broke and can take up to 7 to 10 years to give you your money that they say is insured with them. Because if the world is going to fall apart, I want to have money now. Do I want suitcases of money? Maybe. Do you want cash on hand? Maybe. Should you have gold and silver? Absolutely. There's nothing wrong with having it, but even Robert Kiyosaki says, we don't buy gold and silver to trade it. We buy it to hold it. So does it really matter if it's going up or down? We're not buying it to trade it back and forth. We're buying it for the doomsday. So who cares what you paid for it? Because if the doomsday comes, long-term thinking, it will be worth more money. If gold and silver are so awesome and my fiat dollar stinks, why do you want my fiat dollar in exchange for your gold and silver? If cryptocurrency is so amazing and my dollar stinks, why do you want my fiat dollar in exchange for your fiat dollar? And for those of you listening that don't know what a fiat dollar is it's just a fake dollar. It's fake money, which is basically what our dollars are today, is fiat currency. It's fake. It's inflated. It's pretend money. It's just numbers on a ledger. Well, cryptocurrency isn't backed by anything, except somebody saying there's not going to be more of it. Gold is supposed to be backing our dollar. And what's backing gold? The fact that we say it's worth what it is today. So many people right now are on this cryptocurrency craze, and I have done my research, and I am not seeing why it's so awesome and amazing. In fact, I learned just a few weeks ago that Bitcoin, I looked it up, 60% of Bitcoin is owned by Chinese companies or China. 60%. So your cryptocurrency that is owned by China is better than the fiat dollar that I have today. That is basically owned by China as well. We're not really spreading our risk if we're going to be in cryptocurrency. And there's so many different kinds of cryptocurrency. It's not like there's one uniform one that can completely replace the dollar. Is it good to give the dollar some sort of competition? Absolutely. Robert Kiyosaki, I think this is how I heard about it, is Robert Kiyosaki just had a podcast on cryptocurrency. And he kind of ripped the guy he was interviewing. He was very hard on him, even though Robert Kiyosaki himself has cryptocurrency, because you can diversify your portfolio. Fantastic. Absolutely wonderful. Maybe you don't want to go all in on one thing. I'm totally good with that. And I don't have to be good with what you do because it's your money. But Robert Kiyosaki has cryptocurrency, and he was kind of really pushing this guy, saying, hey, cryptocurrency is never going to replace the dollar. That's what you guys think. That's what you're talking about. And this guy's like, no, we want cryptocurrency to kind of just be competitive with the dollar, to kind of say, hey, Mr. Dollar, you are not the only way to buy and sell things. And when many people think we're going to go back to the bartering system where we're going to barter, well, I have 100% faith that people are going to barter before they're going to use gold and silver. I mean, how many people barter today with things that they have? So, because gold and silver, I mean, I don't know how you carry it around. If you're going to trade it on paper, isn't it just another form of currency and IOU notes? Or you go live off the grid and you don't have to worry about anything and you completely barter everything. So if you're scared of what's going on in the economy today, we have to just put it into perspective. We have to figure out how we can reduce that fear. What can we do for the long term to prepare for this? But I remember as a kid, fear around all kinds of new stuff that didn't end up even being fearful. But people were prepared, which is not the end of the world. Prepare, fantastic. But there is still faith. I still believe there is faith in our dollar, which is crazy. I mean, it's absolutely crazy. But the fact that our dollar is still valued more than any other currency, I don't know how, because they keep printing money and it's driving me insane, but it is. It's a fact. So prepare. Just like anything else in life, we have to prepare and get the government out of what we are doing in our lives. Try to avoid them, which is the whole nother ideal behind the infinite banking concept. If the government makes a rule, guess what? We are now subject to that rule, and then they're going to make some stupid exception. If they're going to print money, they're going to figure out how to get it back through taxes. So when we see all these changes, that's where it's coming from. Keep ruining the dollar. But are we helping by overpaying for things? The housing market right now is absolutely insane. Why people are paying what they're paying is because of fear, is because, oh my God, I might not get that house, so I better go get it today at whatever price. The patient people or the really smart people are saying, you know what, I'm going to sell my house, I'm going to go rent a house, and then when everything comes back down to normal, then I'm going to buy something. It's no different with cattle. Cattle prices are high. I have people I've talked to that sold last time cattle prices were high, and then they bought back in when it was low. Take advantage of it instead of fearing that you're going to miss out on something, which is human nature. Which is why I like life insurance, because I don't have to compete with anything. I don't have to look at it. I don't have to watch the markets and buy and sell and all this other stuff. It's fantastic. One less thing for me to worry about. So prepare for what is coming. Listen to things with an open mind. Don't go so far down some of those rabbit holes that you can't even see what's really happening, or you quit talking to the other side of that. A lot of times, if we're so far down a rabbit hole, we don't even want to listen to the other side. And what I have found is by not being down that rabbit hole, I'm hearing what's going on both sides, and I can be far more rational about things. Or some of you might think I'm just sticking my head in the sand. I'm just going to look out long term and do what I can today under my control to get where I want to be long term, and have it in the back of my head that I need to prepare for this stuff. All right. I think I'm done. I don't think I have anything else to add. If you guys have something to add, email me, maryjo@withoutthebank.com. If you've not gotten the book, Farming Without the Bank, go ahead, do that now. Get Nelson's book. If you have not scheduled your appointment yet, why? What are you waiting for? How are you supposed to know if it works for you if we don't have an appointment? Go ahead, get scheduled. It's not going to cost you anything. We're going to go over your stuff. I'm not going to try to sell you anything, but get on the schedule. At the moment of this recording, I am not booking out that far anymore. So you don't have to plan 6 weeks in advance. Now is a good time to do it because everybody else during the summer is not thinking about it. So if you can spare an hour and a half, and I don't know how you can't spare an hour and a half. I mean, it's an hour and a half. If you had to go to the doctor, you would find a way to do it, right? If you had to go to the dentist, you would find a way to do it. And your finances are just as important because it is your financial health. So get that appointment scheduled. If you've purchased the book, you have a link to my calendar in your email, or you can always call our office and you can schedule that way, or just email maryjo@withoutthebank and we'll get you scheduled. Either way, read the book, get on the schedule, find the book if you've lost it. One or the two, one of the three. All right, y'all, have a fantastic rest of your day, and we'll catch you in the next podcast.
Thanks for listening to the Farming Without the Bank podcast. We hope today's episode has inspired you to take control of your finances in new ways. Don't forget to check out our website, farmingwithoutthebank.com, and engage with us on our Facebook page, Farming Without the Bank. Join us next week as we smash more financial myths and empower you to accomplish your financial goals.